Welcome back. We're switching now to ensuring violence-free polls in Nigeria, and we're being joined by a legal practitioner and election observer, Mr. Chukwuma Ezeala. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Before we get into that, the proposal made by the president yesterday before the National Assembly for the 2017 budget has the judiciary getting about 100 billion naira, and that many consider that an increase compared to what was before. Do you think it will make any difference?
Considering the problems we have in the judiciary, considering the constant demand for funding, it will certainly make a little difference, but I think we should do more.
How do you mean?
Because we have a lot of challenges today. We have a lot of people being taken to the judiciary. We need to appoint more judges. We need to improve the courtrooms. I was at the Federal High Court yesterday. I mean, as usual, everywhere. You get into the court, you see that a lot of people are hanging outside. So we need more courthouses, courtrooms. We need more buildings for the courts. We need to make them a bit more comfortable. If we are fighting corruption, where will you start? If not making that area a bit more comfortable, a bit more friendlier. Judges are still writing in longhand. There are still people to be employed. So the next problem is, apart from what you have, are they going to release all of them? You know, the performance of our budget is also dependent on how much they are ready to release. Our politicians are more interested in releasing money for their escrows, but not on the real.
What about
issues.
the independence of the judiciary? How independent would they be, even with this amount of money they get?
No, but like I said, when you break this money down, you will see that it's not really enough. Their independence presupposes that this money will be sent to them from the consolidated funds. But the executive will always tell you there is no money. And for them, only when there will be money for extra codes.
Okay, so we'll take a moment and when we come back, we'll look at achieving violence-free polls in Nigeria. Please don't go away.
Thank you.
Welcome back. So, achieving or ensuring violence-free polls in Nigeria, Chukwuma Ezeala joins us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, I know we're talking about judiciary, so let's leave that and come back here.
Yes.
You're an election observer, and I'm not sure, were you in River State for the rerun?
I couldn't have gone to River State. I didn't go.
Okay, but from what you get, I know you have your people on ground, so
Yes.
tell us what your take is of what transpired there.
What happened in Rivers is anything but not elections. One, if you're talking about elections, you have to think of the confidence of the participants on the umpire. Not just the participants, but of the people, of the voters. You know, in an election, you have the voters as also the major stakeholders. What was the confidence? You see, unfortunately, the gains we got during the Jega-led INEC seems to be gradually being eroded. And I think there is a need for us to get ourselves back, move on. Why would you have to completely militarize an entire area? Because there is no confidence. And then people seem to say, I'm going to protect my votes. We have a card reader ordinarily that should be able to transmit results or guarantee free polls. So what is the card? We spent billions of naira to get those card readers. So if those card readers are working, would there be problem? Would people want to protect their votes? Would there be violence? Would there be guns around? But it appears that the card readers are manipulated, the result sheets are manipulated. Why would somebody go and steal the result sheets if the card readers are working? Or if the card readers are deployed in such a way that it should work? What stops us from, immediately after the elections, transmitting these results the way we were told? And with all these, you will certainly remove or reduce violence. But we have refused to call a spade a spade. who have refused to listen to the voice of reason.
But even if the cartridges are deployed as they should, yes, and the results are transmitted as they should, there's a school of thought that believes that violence in our polls begin not at the poll on the day of the elections,
yes,
but they actually begin from before the campaigns,
yes,
instigated by the utterances of the politicians and all of that. Do you agree with that school of thought?
Oh, certainly. In 2007, I was in an organization that was trying to look at violent areas. So we're keeping a tab, really, trying to find out where would there be likely violence, what could cause violence, what statements would politicians make that can really engineer violence. And we're taking those steps, we're interacting with those politicians, we're interacting with the political parties to see how to reduce violence. And in our meetings, in our various meetings throughout the Federation at that time, we will hear the other side. Why would you make these statements? What are your fears? And we'll get INEC, we'll get security agencies for all of them to look at those issues and allay those fears so that there would be reduced violence. But today, I don't know whether I don't know whether there are people that are still working on such things, and if they are working, what are the challenges they are having. Today, both the utterances by INEC, utterances by political parties, both APC and PDP, and other politicians, they are all part of it. Sometimes 2 months, we heard what they were all saying, what the governor was saying, what the Minister of Aviation was saying before the elections, and these were all the things that engineered the problem. However, my point on this is, if, for instance, there is confidence in the way INEC was going to conduct the elections, in the way the candidates would, even if you try to incite people, first is, if there is violence, there will be no result. And if you know there will be no result as a result of violence, then you will certainly be careful, because I said you don't want election in your area. And if you know that your violence cannot give you results, that your violence will not deliver the votes to you, because where there is violence, the candidates are likely going to be destroyed, or if they are not destroyed, the results will be sacrosanct. We need to maintain the sanctity of the people's will. The people's will remains the supreme law, and we should do nothing to subvert the intentions of the people. That is why the Latin people said, Salus populi suprema legis. The will of the people is the supreme law. And the protection of the people is also very important, and they should not be cajoled. They should not be made to fear going to the polls.